Level 1. The Handshake. It starts with a dead girl in the back seat of a black SUV. The rain hits the windows, hard enough to drown out the sirens 3 blocks away. Your campaign manager keeps both hands on the steering wheel. Nobody speaks. The girl can't be older than 23. A staffer, intern, volunteer. You don't even remember. The blood on her collar looks almost black under the passing streetlights. Then your manager finally says it. You're polling at 48%. If this reaches the press, you lose everything. That's the first rule. Not truth, not justice. Survival. The body disappears before sunrise. 2 state troopers redirect traffic near the river. A county coroner signs paperwork he never reads. By noon, the news cycle moves on to a celebrity divorce and a refinery fire outside Baton Rouge. And at 6 p.m., you shake hands at a fundraiser while donors smile in your face. Nobody knows, except they do. That's the second rule. Everyone important always knows. The old senator pulls you aside near the whiskey table. His cufflinks cost more than your father earned in a year. You handled your first crisis, he says quietly. Messy, but effective. Your stomach tightens. First crisis, not last. You win the election by 11,204 votes. The district loves you because you sound clean, young, educated, different. You still believe some of it yourself. At first, you spent your first 6 months learning the ecosystem, who controls committee appointments, which lobbyists matter, which reporters can be bought with access instead of cash. Money moves invisibly here. A defense contractor buys your wife a consulting position worth $140,000 a year. A pharmaceutical group funds a veterans hospital in your name 1 week before re-election ads begin airing. Nobody says bribery anymore. They call it alignment. The guilt fades faster than you expected. That scares you most. Then the first real vote arrives. A housing bill. Publicly, it helps working families. Privately, it clears entire neighborhoods for redevelopment deals. You read the displacement estimates yourself. 14,000 people. Mostly poor, mostly black, mostly forgotten. You vote yes anyway. Because party leadership remembers loyalty. And because the senator with the expensive cufflinks now answers your calls. That's when you realize power isn't about changing the system, it's about proving you can protect it. Level 2. The debt. The call comes at 2:13 a.m. You already know it's bad. Nobody calls at 2:13 for good reasons. A donor's son killed someone outside a nightclub in Georgetown. Cocaine, street racing. One witness still alive. The donor spent $3.8 million getting you elected. Now he wants repayment. Not money, protection. You sit in the back room of a private cigar lounge while attorneys negotiate around you like surgeons discussing an organ transplant. A prosecutor receives a judgeship recommendation. A witness suddenly recants. A toxicology report vanishes for 48 hours. The donor's son walks free within 3 weeks. The victim's mother cries on television. You avoid watching. That's the third rule. Never look directly at the damage. Your staff grows, security grows. So does the distance between you and normal people. You stop driving yourself, stop grocery shopping, stop standing in lines. You begin entering buildings through side doors and underground garages while assistants carry your schedule down hallways lined with armed guards. People stand when you enter rooms now. That changes something in the brain. You notice it slowly. You interrupt more. You apologize less. You start measuring human value by usefulness. One reporter becomes dangerous, young, persistent, cheap enough not to be controlled. She keeps asking about campaign finance irregularities. At first, you try kindness, exclusive interviews, private dinners, access. When that fails, your advisors escalate. An old DUI resurfaces online. Anonymous accounts leak photos of her brother buying narcotics. Her editor reassigns her within the month. You never directly order any of it. That matters to you, at least for now. The senator with the cufflinks invites you onto the appropriations committee after that. You understand leverage, he tells you. You don't sleep well that night, but you accept the position anyway. Because influence is addictive, and because the first crime already happened months ago beside a river nobody talks about anymore. Level 3, the machine. By your 3rd year, people stop calling you promising. Now they call you dangerous, quietly, respectfully. You control infrastructure spending across 3 states, bridges, ports, military contracts. Every signature creates winners and losers. You learn how fortunes are engineered. A construction company contributes $800,000 through layered pay-see donations. 3 weeks later, they secure a federal highway contract worth $1.2 billion. Nobody can prove corruption because the paperwork is perfect. That's the beauty of modern crime. It wears a tie. You build a network. Union leaders, police commissioners, editors, judges, fixers, everyone owes somebody. That's the fourth rule. Debt is stronger than loyalty. Then your chief of staff disappears. No warning, no resignation. One morning, his office is simply empty. By afternoon, federal investigators issue subpoenas tied to offshore accounts in Cyprus. Your heart nearly stops when you see the headlines, because you use those accounts too. For 12 hours, you think your life is over. Then the senator calls. Relax, he says. This is containment. Containment. Such a clean word. Your chief of staff is found dead in a hotel bathtub 2 days later. Officially accidental overdose. Unofficially necessary. You attend the funeral wearing a black overcoat while his wife hugs you and thanks you for your support. You tell yourself you didn't kill him. You only failed to stop what needed stopping. The distinction helps. Barely. You start drinking more after that. Expensive bourbon. Small amounts during the day, larger amounts at night. Your wife notices but says nothing. She enjoys the new house in Virginia too much. The private school. The driver. The magazine profiles. Everyone around you profits from silence. That's how systems survive. Not through fear alone, through shared appetite. Level 4. The architect. You run for governor during an economic collapse. Factories close. Fuel prices spike. People panic. Fear becomes currency. And you learn how to spend it. Your campaign consultants discover crime statistics increase voter turnout by 9% in suburban counties. Suddenly, every speech includes violence. Every ad includes shadows. Every interview includes enemies, immigrants, activists, journalists. The public doesn't need facts, only targets. You win by the largest margin in state history. The inauguration feels less exciting than you expected, because by now, victory feels routine. What excites you is control. The governor's mansion contains hidden tunnels beneath the residence dating back to the Cold War. State police rotate outside 24 hours a day. You feel untouchable there, like a king inside reinforced walls. Then the protests begin. A refinery explosion poisons drinking water across 2 counties. Internal reports warned it could happen 18 months earlier. You buried those reports after energy executives funded your campaign. Now children are getting sick on live television. Crowds gather outside the Capitol building. Your advisors offer options: public apology, federal aid, or escalation. You choose escalation, curfews, mass arrests, National Guard deployment. You tell yourself order matters more than outrage. The protests collapse within 10 days. 3 civilians die during the crackdown. One 16-year-old boy loses an eye from a rubber bullet fired at close range. You see the photos during a security briefing. You stare at them longer than necessary. Then you approve another emergency funding package for riot equipment. That's when you understand the 5th rule. Power protects itself first. Always. Your marriage deteriorates quietly. Your wife begins sleeping in another wing of the mansion. Conversations become transactional. Schedules, appearances, donations. The woman who once loved you now studies you like damaged machinery. One night she asks, "Do you even remember who you were before this?" You don't answer because you honestly don't know. Level 5, the presidency. The campaign costs billions. By the end, you owe everyone something. Corporations, foreign governments, tech billionaires. Nobody donates because they believe in you anymore. They invest in you. You win after a disputed election that sends riots through 6 major cities. From a bunker beneath the White House, you watch people destroy each other while chanting your name. Victory feels strangely empty. The presidency changes everything. Now every signature carries bodies attached to it. A drone strike eliminates a terrorist target overseas. 11 civilians die alongside him. An intelligence director calls the casualties statistically acceptable. Weeks later, you hear yourself repeating the same phrase without thinking. That's when you realize power changes language first, then conscience. Soon the leaks begin. Old recordings, bribes, threats, evidence from your years as governor resurfaces piece by piece. Your administration denies everything publicly. Privately, you know it's all real. Late one night, the old senator with the expensive cufflinks visits the Oval Office. Older now, sicker. You can survive scandal, he tells you. What kills politicians is weakness. 3 weeks later, he dies during a hunting trip. Another funeral. Another widow thanking you. Another person swallowed by the machine. You begin walking the White House halls alone at night, unable to sleep. Portraits of dead presidents stare down at you like silent witnesses. Then your daughter asks you a question over dinner. Are they telling the truth about you? For 1 second, you almost confess everything. the river, the corruption, the deaths, but you can't, because the lie has existed too long, so instead you say the only thing powerful people ever say when truth becomes dangerous. It's complicated. She nods slowly. Not because she believes you, because she knows you're lying. Later that night, your chief of staff places another classified folder on your desk. Another crisis. Another decision. Another signature. Your hand hesitates briefly before picking up the pen, because that's the final rule. The machine never stops long enough for guilt.